Hello chess enthusiasts, my name is Miha and welcome to my chessrealm YouTube channel. US Chess Championship is underway. Let's go to the fourth round duel between Wesley So playing as white and Sam Shankland playing as black. Let's see what happened. Wesley So had white pieces and he started with e4, c5, knight to f3, d6, d4, c captures on d4, knight recaptures, knight to f6, knight to c3 and a6, and we have neither variation of Sicilian defense, and white plays pretty standard move, bishop to e2. Now black plays e5, targeting this knight on d4, so knight goes to d3, bishop goes to e7, and now of course white castles king side, and black does the same, pretty much according to the theory. And now normal developing moves were followed, bishop to e3, bishop goes to e6, rook to e1, and now black can develop knight to either c6 or d7, knight from b goes to d7 was played, preparing this unpleasant b5 pawn push, so white immediately reacts with a4, preventing this b5 pawn push because b5 square is protected like what, 3 times. And now black responds with queen to c7. Pretty simple plan, knight to b6, preparing to deploy it on c4 because c4 square is now protected, targeting this bishop on e3 and pawn on b2. So white prevents this knight to b6 with a5, protecting this b6 square. Rook from f goes to c8, now bishop to f3, and now h6, protecting this g5 square, preventing any unpleasant bishop to g5 just in case. White does the same, h3 was played. And now black has decided to get rid of this unpleasant pawn on a5, so immediately b5 was played. Preparing b4, because pawn on c2 is attacked double times and protected only once, so white more or less has no other option but to play en passant, so a goes to b6. And black of course recaptures with knight, threatening with this knight to c4, targeting both bishop on e3 and also pawn on b2, who is actually the only defender of this knight on c3. So white reacts with knight to a5, preventing this unpleasant knight to c4 jump. Black continues with rook from a goes to b8. Now when this knight is gone, for example to c4, we have double attack on this pawn on b2. So white plays immediately bishop to c1, protecting this pawn just in case. And of course black continues with knight to c4, double attack on this pawn on b2. Of course white cannot defend with the b3 because then this knight on c3 is not protected, so white more or less has no other option but to capture this knight on c4, and of course bishop recaptures, and white continues with bishop to e2, offering the trade of bishops, and black says okay, let's do it. Bishop captures on e2, both queen and or rook can do it. White has decided to recapture with rook, defend it, also this pawn on f2. And black continues with queen to b7. First of all, putting some pressure on this pawn on b2, and also double attack on this pawn on e4, who is actually twice protected, but maybe this was not enough. So white plays queen to d3, so pawn on e4 is 3 times protected. And black continues with rook goes to c6. Very simple plan. Rook from b should go to c8, supporting this rook. Threatening with rook to c4, putting additional pressure on this pawn on e4, so white immediately reacts with b3, preventing this rook to c4. And now black plays bishop to d8, preparing to deploy it on b6, from where it will target this king on g1, pinning this pawn, so white immediately plays king to h2, getting this his king out of the possible pin. And yeah, now black continues with bishop to b6, and now white has to be careful because this knight is not very much protected. Let's see if white makes a random move. Simply rook captures on f3, queen recaptures, and bishop to the d4, skewering this queen, targeting this rook. Well, the only way to defend for white is queen to a5, but after bishop captures, queen recaptures, and now knight captures pawn on e4, and black is a pawn up in a better position. So in the game, white plays knight goes to d1, and now white also attacks this pawn on a6 twice. So black plays bishop to d4, attacking rook on a1, and also the double defend this knight on a6. White interferes the diagonal with c3, attacking bishop on d4, and black doesn't remove but plays rook from b goes to c8. So what we have, double attack on this Bishop on c1 if, of course, this pawn on c3 is gone. So white doesn't want to lose this bishop, so bishop goes to d2. Bishop on d4 is still under attack, so bishop goes back to a7. Pawn on b3 is attacked by the queen, so white defends with rook to a3. And now black plays bishop to c5, targeting this rook on a3, trying to remove the only defender of pawn on b3. So white more or less has no other option but to play b4, attacking this bishop on c5. Bishop goes back to a7. Of course, still keeping an eye on this pawn on f2. Well, rook is defends it, but maybe rook will be needed somewhere else. So white plays f3, removing pawn from f2 and also protecting this pawn on e4. And black continues with rook to d8, skewering this, x-raying this queen on d3. So yeah, white has to be careful because d5 is a very serious threat. Well, let's see. If white makes a random move, let's say king to h1, then after d5, black threatens with capturing this pawn on e4 and also attacking the queen. If e-pawn captures on d5, rook recaptures, attacking the queen. After queen to c2, let's say knight to h5, threatening knight to g3, forking both king and rook. And after maybe, let's say, bishop to e1, protecting this g3 square. But then after knight goes to f4, black attacks this rook. After, let's say, rook to d2, trying to trade the rooks, rook captures, queen captures. And after rook to g6, this pawn on g2 is attacked, cannot be defended successfully. Of course, g4 doesn't help. We have mate into queen to f3, and of course it's going to be mate in the next move. So in the game, white plays bishop to d3, trying to trade the bishops. Black disagrees, so bishop goes to b8 was played, and now white plays rook from e goes to d2, and now we have this pawn on a6 is 3 times attacked and cannot be 3 times defended, so black plays d5, again threatening this d pawn captures on e4. Well, let's see, if rook captures on a6, simply rook recaptures. Now either rook or queen can recapture. If queen captures, then simply queen captures, rook captures, and now d4 captures on e4, threatening to capture this knight. Not very pleasant for white. And if, for example, rook captures, again queen goes back to c8, still targeting this rook, threatening with d pawn captures on e4. Queen to e2 doesn't help, simply d pawn captures, f pawn recaptures, knight captures, and material position is equal. So in the game, white first plays knight to f2, removing this knight from d1 and also protecting this pawn on e4. And black responds with rook from d goes to c8. Black says, okay, you can grab my a pawn, but then I'm going to grab your pawn on c3. So white plays bishop to c5 interference. And black definitely wants to get rid of this interference, so bishop goes to d6, offering the trade of bishop. White says, okay, let's do it. Bishop captures on d6, rook recaptures, and now finally rook captures on a6. Of course, okay, rook is 2 times protected, but that doesn't matter. Black could have simply captured rook on a6, and after, for example, queen recaptures, rook recaptures, and now either this pawn on c3 or this pawn on e4 is, let's say, available. If, for example, rook would recapture on a6, simply d4 would be played. Of course, queen has to protect this rook on a6, and black threatens with rook to c3. C-pawn captures on d4 doesn't help. After e-pawn recaptures, of course, this rook is still under attack, but after rook to e6, black simply gets pawn on d4. Queen to e4, well, doesn't help. Black would have simply traded queens, rook recaptures. Okay, white is a pawn up, but in order to convert this advantage, it would take a lot of precision. So actually, black would have a lot of drawing chances here. Okay, let's go back to our game. So rook to a6 was definitely the best move. In the game, however, black plays rook from d goes to d8. Again, very simple plan, threatening with d captures here on e4, attacking the queen. But white is on the move and plays a spectacular move. Rook captures knight on f6. Well, black more or less has no other option now but to recapture this piece, so g-pawn captures on f6. White is exchanged now, but Black is in a lot of trouble. Knight to g4 was played, threatening knight to f6. Entered the game with the tempo because after a check, knight will also grab this pawn on d5, cementing this knight on d5 with two passed pawn. This would be a very, very bad for black. So black plays king to g7, defending this pawn on f6, and white responds with queen to d2, targeting this pawn on h6. Of course, if black makes a random move, simply queen to h6 check, king to g8, knight to f6 checkmate. So black plays rook to h8, defending this pawn on h6. And white continues with e-pawn captures on d5, and now we already have three passed pawns, so this is very bad for black. Black plays queen to c7, double attack on this pawn on c3, so white defends with rook to a3, pawn is protected, but now black played discover check, e4 was played, we have check. But white finds the best answer, d6 was played, we have interference, queen goes to d7, and now queen to f4, targeting this pawn on f6, very unpleasant. Black has to defend it somehow. Because if, for example, black makes a random move, let's say rook to d8, simply queen to f6 check, okay, king could go to f8, but then queen captures rook, and after king to g8, knight captures on h6, and now black could only sacrifice his rook, and after rook to h6, queen to h6, white has decisive advantage. So in the game, queen to e6 was played, defending this pawn on f6. And now f-pawn captures on e4. Okay, so white is grabbing material and also threatening with this c4, trying to deploy the rook to g3, threatening with discover check on the king. So black plays rook to c4, blocking this pawn and also threatening to capture this pawn. White doesn't care. Knight to e3 was played, attacking this rook on c4. If, for example, black captures pawn with the queen, we save simply queen to g3, it's a check, and once black removed his queen, then knight simply captures rook on c4, and white has decisive material advantage. So in the game, rook captures on e4 was played, and now the end is not so far away. White plays knight to f5 check. Now if king goes to g8 or maybe f8, doesn't matter, rook to a8 check. And now, of course, black can delay the mate for a couple of moves. Queen to c8, rook captures, rook to e8, d7 is going to be mate in two moves. There's nothing black can do about it. And if, for example, king should go to h7, queen to h6 check, king to g8, queen to h7 is checkmate. So in the game, black plays king to g6, and now white responds with queen to g3 check. Let's see what black can do. Of course, if king goes to h7, queen to g7 is checkmate. If king goes to h5, knight to g7 also checkmate. So king had no other options. King would have no other options but to capture this knight on f5, but then rook would go to a5 check. Of course, if black would defend the check with the rook, we have queen to g4, it would be checkmate. If black would defend it, the check with the queen, rook would capture. Again, if rook captures, queen to g4 checkmate. And if, for example, pawn captures on e5, simply queen to g7 attacking the rook, and yeah, black would deploy the rook, let's say, I don't know, b7, but I don't know, then queen captures on s7 check, and this pawn is going to be promoted. White is definitely winning here, and realizing that all is lost in this position, Sam Shankland resigned the game. So I hope you like this game, I hope you have learned something from it. If you have any questions, my email is below in the description. Of course, I invite you to visit my Instagram page. That's it for now, and see you soon.